Alright, the train horn is hooked up. Hey, it's Jason. I'm working on a really cool project. I thought it would be neat to install a train horn on the old Cushman town and country golf cart that I've restored, so we can cruise around the property and maybe go to some local events in the neighborhood and have a pretty loud horn, because my son loves pressing the little horn on the golf cart, but it's kind of dinky. But I don't want to eliminate the, how authentic that is. I want to keep that in place, but I want to install this horn blasters. It's a motorcycle horn that I'll fit under the seat of the vehicle, or in the engine compartment under the seat. So there's two things I had to get here, right? First, you have to get the actual horn. This is the Horn Blasters motorcycle horn. It's a compact design. They make it in stainless steel, but this specific one is, I think I paid, if I recall, like $99 or so for the horn. Yeah, so I was just checking. The actual horn, it's the Horn Blasters compact motorcycle air horn, and it was $28.99. It comes with like the bolt and things that hook it up, but it doesn't come with a wiring kit. So I got the wiring kit along with the button for the horn. That was $14, and it comes with a series of instructions on how to hook it up, but it seems kind of confusing. So what I want to do is just show you step by step how to do it. Specifically, I've never used one of these little crimp gizmos, so I think you just press the wire in and squeeze it. I'm gonna have to confirm that on YouTube. But let me walk you through all the pieces and bits that come with the kit, and then we're going to pull the golf cart out of the shed and start hooking it up and give a very step-by-step. If you're a pro at this, or if you know a lot about electrics, or if you've hooked horns up before, this video probably isn't for you. It's for folks like me that honestly didn't even know that these relays would have went together. So stay tuned. Step one is going to be explaining all the pieces. Step two, mounting the relay, and then getting into it a little bit deeper. Okay, so with the horn and the kit, you're going to get a few items. So keep in mind, what I'm showing here includes the horn wiring kit items. If you just purchase the horn and not the wiring kit with the button, you're not going to have all this. So effectively, it's going to mount through a bolt. You can see the hole right there. Wherever you're going to put it on the actual vehicle. And then you're going to have a few other items here. You're going to have a relay. This relay is going to bolt in a dry place, and the relay is going to actually plug into the wiring kit. So you're going to plug it in just like so. And the relay will only plug one way, so you can't really mess it up. So now you're going to have something like this hooked up. When you follow these wires, this is going to go with the fuse to the positive terminal on the battery, and that's coming out from where you plug the relay in. This gray wire, the real long one, is going to go to the switch. So that gray wire is going to go to the switch. That's why it's so long and it's not terminated. And then it's going to leave you with one dangling red wire here, one black cable, and one gray cable. What you're going to want to use for the switch, you're going to want to ground that as well. So this wire is going to actually go in to the switch, and then you'll ground it to like an unpainted bolt on the vehicle. And then that's only going to leave you with this wire and this black wire. So with the black wire, you're going to want to take this and put it into a ground. So you're going to go in to the negative terminal of the horn, and you're going to want to take this and put it into a ground, and they give you these little guys here to actually run that in, crimp it. I think you just put the wire in and squeeze it, make sure it's tight, and then put this on a ground. So then you have one other wire left, right? And that is this red wire. So this final red wire, you're going to have to terminate with one of these. Probably this guy here. It's going to go in and crimp in, and then it's going to go to the positive on the horn. So let's repeat everything. You have the relay is plugging into the wiring switch. So this is completing a lot of the wiring for you. The gray cable from the relay, this bad boy here, is going into the switch. Along with the switch, you're going to want to go to a ground. So you're going to use this and ground the switch. So now your switch is hooked up. The unterminated red wire from the relay is going to go to the positive on the horn. You're going to use one of the terminators to actually make it so you can plug into that. So now you have the horn positive hooked up to the relay, the switch hooked up to the relay. Now you have to get power. So this is going to go to the positive terminal on the battery. And then you're going to use this black wire, and it's going to actually go to the ground from the horn to a ground on your motorcycle or whatever you're hooking it up to. So I hope that explained it, because it can look a bit intimidating, and all of these words and whatnot on this page was a little confusing. So the first step, I'm going to get the golf cart, I'm going to hook up the relay, and I'm going to mount where I want the horn to go. And I'm going to repeat all of this as I'm doing it. Okay, so let's get started mounting the actual horn. Now, the stock horn for the manufacturer is right up here. You can see it right there. And I want to keep that. I don't want to modify that. This is what I think a 1964 Cushman Golfster Town and Country, as you probably have seen in my other videos. So I want to maintain that. My battery is right here. I don't want to mount it anywhere near the exhaust because of heat. So what I think I'm going to do is take this 10 millimeter out, which I've already done. So that's holding like the frame in. And I had a bracket already that I use to mount solar panels for the cars. I'm going to just put that in right there and then hook the horn up underneath. So it's probably going to muffle the sound a little bit, but I think it would be pretty cool to have both still on it. And I don't want to mount it in the front because the cable they gave isn't long enough to get electric from the relay up. Because again, this is a motorcycle kit. So instead of complicating it and extending the wire and running it, I'm just going to do it where I can easily maintenance it. So let me get that bracket mounted. Any type of bracket. This here is, again, came with a solar panel bracket mount that I had. But, your application is going to be different. Your golf cart's going to be different. This is just how I'm doing mine. So let me get this mounted. And this was 10 millimeters. So I'm just going to put this on just like so. And then these holes that are already in there, I'm going to be able to use to mount the horn to underneath. So again, every application is going to be a bit different, and you're going to have to be kind of creative with how you do it, especially if you're doing it on like a vintage golf cart like I'm doing. But I think this is the most logical place because it's going to be easy to maintain it, and it's going to keep it nice and dry. So I don't need to worry if I'm parking this thing and it starts to rain, the relay getting wet, all the other relays, and you can see how nice and snug this is. I think this is actually going to be a perfect location. I'm just going small turns because I don't want to strip anything. But there we have it. Okay, so I mounted the relay. I just removed a 10 millimeter bolt there to mount the relay. So now I have my cable. So you notice I undid the bracket because I found it would be easier to hook the horn up once the bracket was already, I'll hook the horn up to the bracket without it being mounted. Now I can screw this back in and hook up my, my wiring to the horn. But let's talk about the wiring on the bottom and show what needs to be hooked up there. Okay, so I have the relay mounted, and this is the cable coming out of the relay. And I'm told to crimp it on this, and they sell a crimping tool, or I'm told, according to Google, you just put the cable in and push this down. I'm not feeling too confident in that. It looks like they've already cut it to length. And I've tested that it was cut to length right because I put one of the non-insulated ones on, and I could see that it looked like there was plenty that actually went up into it to the end. So I'm not going to cut anymore. I'm just going to use what they've cut. I've never done this before, and I've crimped lots of Cat 5 and Cat 6, but I have a crimping tool. They said you can just use pliers. So basically put it in and squeeze this down really, really hard. So wish me luck. The first one didn't seem to do too good. I was able to get it out, but I'm squeezing with all my might on this one, hoping. But man, this does not seem ideal to me. I'm not gonna joke. I'm going back towards the back of the pliers, and I'm gonna go get some bigger pliers here in a second, but it's crimped in there. Let me get some bigger pliers so I can give it a really good squeeze. Okay, so I just went and got some vice grips. I'm probably like overdoing it at this point. I can see when I look in here, it looks crimped, but I want to really make sure, because this is like the type of thing that can be a huge pain in the butt, I bet. So here we go again. Looking in here, it looks like it's bent much better. So I think we're good. So then this will go on the bottom of the actual horn on the positive side. So you're gonna have the positive side here, and it's gonna go on just like so. So red from the relay into the positive side, not the red with the fuse going to the battery. So you can see it just slides right on, nice and secure. So the next step is you have to set up a ground coming from the horn. So they give you this black ground wire, and you're going to want to have this go into the negative, and then you're going to have to terminate again a connector, and you're going to want to either go to the negative ground post on the battery or a bare piece of metal that you can put it to for the ground. I'm going to go to a bare piece of metal that's on the frame. So I'm using this little guy that came with the wiring kit. You just put it on, and then you're going to want to just squeeze it nice and tight. I'm going to use the needle nose pliers, and then I'm going to use the vice grips. So you want to see it coming through the end there, and just squeeze it nice and tight so it gets a firm hold. So now I just gave it a nice squeeze with the vice grips, and you can see in here it's a really nice hold for the ground. So then I will go to the horn, and I'll put it on the negative side as the instructions call for. So it just pops on like so. So now I have that on. I'm actually ready to mount the horn up and hook up the negative. So now with my wires everywhere they need to be, I'm going to make sure I don't have anything crossing. I can go ahead and put this on like so, and I'm really happy with how this is turning out with the mount. I think it's going to keep it nice and secure, but also it will be easy for me to do any maintenance or just check on it if I need to. That's just a random tree falling in the woods, if you're curious what that cracking was. Very odd. Let me go ahead and tighten this up. Alright, so I've just tightened it all up. It's really nice and secure. And then I have my negative wire, which I'm going to bolt to this guy, because it's exposed and it's easy, and it will give me a good ground. So I just changed where I'm going to put the ground. This is not painted metal. I'm going to put it right there. Initially I was going to put it here, but I was concerned about water and debris getting on it. This is protected, so I just loosened it up a little bit, and then I can go ahead and tighten it back up, and that gives me a really nice ground. So go ahead and tighten it back up. So now you can see that this is the ground in here, nice and secure and protected from the tire or any debris. So again, when you're doing these projects, you kind of got to be pretty agile and go as it calls for. So the only thing left to do now, the gray wire is for my switch. This is for the battery. I'm going to hook up the battery last, because I don't want any power running until I get the switch hooked up. So let me go ahead and do the switch. And again, it's just this gray cable, and it's going to be the really long one, because it's going to give you a lot of options of where you can mount it. I don't think I'm going to mount it up here. I'm probably going to mount it somewhere back here. I'm going to take a peek and see what looks the best. Okay, so the horn switch goes from the relay. It's this gray wire. I followed the wire loom through a grommet down at the bottom. It came up underneath. I went in, and then I came out below the steering column, and I'm going to mount the switch right here underneath the steering wheel. And then I'll run the ground back through, and I'll put it on an unpainted screw inside. So then the switch will be hooked up. Okay, so this is the ground. So I'm going to terminate that, and it will go into the back of the switch. And then I have the gray wire going from the relay, which I'll terminate, and it will go into the back of the switch as well. What I elected to do is just follow the cables for the old horn all the way up through the column, and then snake everything out here to connect it, and then use that existing hole to put the switch. Okay, so I have the cables crimped. I'm going to mount the switch like that, hook these cables up in the back, and I'll probably just use a little bit of adhesive tape to keep that other one, because I don't want to drill into the column. But one screw should be enough for what I'm using, and it's near the other one. So let me go ahead and get these screwed in the back. It does not matter what screws you use. Either one will work for the negative, ground, or for the one coming from the relay. Okay, so I have the button all hooked up. I'll put a little bit of adhesive tape back there to hold it a little bit more secure. But presumably I can now hook up power, which is the final slot of the relay, to the battery. And then I'll put the seat down. That will turn the safety off, and I should, I'm hoping, have a train horn. All right, the train horn is hooked up. Let's go ahead and give it a test. That's how it sounds. Hit it again.